Welcome back to Gaming Vibes on a Sunday, and I am Troy. Welcome. So much gaming news to get into. We are approximately 2 days away from the launch of the Xbox Series X and Series S. That's going to be launching November 10th. And super excited like you are. Hopefully, I can pre-order one. There's going to be an opportunity for us gamers who weren't able to actually pre-order a Xbox when the pre-orders initially went out. So we're going to have another opportunity to do so on launch day, which is a great thing. Same thing for the PS5. We're going to have another opportunity November 12th in several different SKUs of time, Eastern Standard Time, of course, to be able to order a PS5 as well. So you'll only be able to order these consoles online at select retailers. So once again, if you got fast Twitter fingers like myself, then it's a great thing. A lot of us are excited for this particular console to launch. And I know myself, I am super excited. I'm ready to get into it. Back catalog is crazy. But I also would like to see the upgraded fidelity of these particular consoles when they come out playing last gen games. We know that the consoles that's being released right now for for this current gen that's coming out, they really don't have any games that are coming out with it that we really got to have day one. But I still want it anyway, like anybody else. But I got a ton of news we got to get into here, and PS5s and Xbox Series X and X. It's such a long word to say. Microsoft got to find a way to chop that up. The PS5 just roll off your tongue a lot smoother than saying the Xbox Series X, you know what I mean, in the S. But at any rate, they are out in the wild. There's been several reviews that have been put up by reputable gaming websites such as IGN, GameSpot. And, so far from what I've been hearing a lot of good news about the PS5 and, of course, good news as well in regard to the Xbox Series X. This is next gen. And me, I really don't like to get into the whole console war deal. I'll save that for people who enjoy that. Each console is going to offer you a different experience. But generally, you're going to get the basic core gaming, upgraded 4K gaming, graphic capability on these next gen options. But there's some differences there, and one of the biggest differences that I found interesting, and I didn't think was going to be a big difference, is the quick resume. Many people who have reviewed, such as Austin Evans, Greg Miller, Ryan McCaffrey, these guys have gotten these consoles already. And one of the things that they've been harping on in regard to the PS5 is that there's no quick resume feature initially at launch of this particular console. And you would think that that would be baked in to the actual unit due to the fact that your competitor's doing it. But then again, your competitor's been doing it with the Xbox One X. You had that quick resume feature, which is really cool. Obviously, that's a feature that can be downloaded with a patch. But my thing is, I'm wondering if Sony is going to just give us this basic bare bones SKU of a console with the upgraded trinkets that it has, but then give us these massive update us to death for the next 6 months and adding these different modes and abilities and functions to the console as the first general year progresses through. I kind of feel like it might be half baked. I'm not saying your gameplay experiences won't be noticeably different than playing on a PS4, but a quick zoom feature as such, that should be a day one thing. That shouldn't be something that we have to wait for. Same thing with the backwards compatibility. Some games won't be backwards compatible, and I think that overall, that should have been something that they should have put together. If you're going to rush this console and put it out, knowing that we're in the middle of a pandemic, then at the same time, you should have thought about these features prior to releasing the console. And if you hear any noise in the background, once again, I apologize. someone's cutting their lawn. So the Xbox Series X quick resume is booming. Apparently, you can jump in and out of games very quickly, very easily as well. And unfortunately, you won't be able to do that with the PS5. You have to actually come out of a game and reboot and get into a game and do it that way. But without any more waiting and procrastinating with the news, let's get into it. So PS5 games can't be stored on an external hard drive. Well, and that's one of the biggest difference here. With the Xbox Series X, you can actually store your last gen games on your external hard drive and store them there to clear up space for your actual console hard drive, which is the solid state drive. Well, with the PS5, you won't have that ability right out the gate. And I don't understand why we don't have the ability right out the gate. It should be something, again, that I feel if these consoles are going to be considered next gen, well, that's a next gen feature. Like, why can't I be able to choose and figure out how I want to store my games? And I get it. They have that new solid state drive, which is super fast and super expensive too. Well, in regard to compared to the Microsoft one that's offering, it's about $200. Well, with the Sony offering, well, actually, they're not even offering one yet. You have to actually get a proprietary, not even a proprietary one, get one that's considered similar to the one that's in a hard drive and put in the actual unit yourself. And compared to Microsoft's option, is cheaper, but you have to do it yourself manually. Whereas with the Microsoft memory card is an actual memory card that you pretty much slide in the back of the actual unit, and that's how you increase your memory. But this is going to be very interesting because there's a ton of games that's going to be coming over to the PS5 from my back catalog, and I'm sure with yours, if you are an extensive gamer, and if you adopted the PS4 as your main game and console unit to play on last gen, you're going to want to bring those games over, and you're not going to want to keep erasing, downloading, because that can get a bit tedious at some particular moment. I know it would for me. There's only so many times I want to delete and then download another game that I've played already. I want everything right there accessible one time. I don't feel like, sometimes I want to wait for a game to download that I've had already on my account. But you won't be able to use an external hard drive like you're using one now on the PS4. I'm currently using one on my PS4 Pro because the 1 terabyte wasn't enough. And we know, as these games get more advanced and the hardware is used to its full capability, you got some games that's going to be over 125 gigs. You know what I mean? Like that new Call of Duty game that's coming out over 120 gigs, which is ridiculous. And that's not even an open world game. So I don't even know why that game will require so much. But then again, I don't know why. Why couldn't these companies just bite the bullet and just, hey, we're going to offer you a 2 terabyte system at the same cost? So I wouldn't mind paying $4.99 for a 2 terabyte system because these games are going to be massive to download, along with the patches, the operating system, everything else. And I'm going to get into the operating system of the Xbox Series S at some particular moment in time in this video because I got some choice words and I feel some kind of way about that. But you're not going to be able to use an external hard drive. But then again, I'm sure somebody would make a workaround to make that happen. Also, I've been playing a lot of Madden 2020. I haven't bought the Madden 21 because from what I saw and what I heard, the game is pretty much the same game as Madden 20. So, to me, I don't need a roster update. So I've been playing Madden 20. I also been playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and I also been streaming a little bit on the Nintendo Switch. So I've been giving my Switch some love, and I'll be bringing you guys more content, more Nintendo content. I know there's a big fan base of Nintendo gamers out there like myself who are long time fans of that particular company. And some of the games that they have coming out is, very interesting. Some of them I really don't care for, but they have some out there that are really impressing me. And hopefully we have a Nintendo Switch Pro in the horizon. There's been a lot of talk about that. There's a lot of rumors going on about that, when that console is going to come out, and if it's going to be able to do a lot better things as far as graphic fidelity. Maybe it can go 4K, or maybe can it just go generally 1080p? Because right now, when you undock it, you're playing at 720p fidelity when you're holding it in your hand, and I believe it's 720p when you dock it. And it maybe your television, depending on your television, may upscale it to 1080p. But I think the Nintendo Switch at this particular moment could do with a refresher at this particular moment. So I'm also looking forward to that. That hasn't been confirmed by Nintendo. So I want to say that once again, that hasn't been confirmed by Nintendo. So apparently there's going to be a new Mass Effect trilogy game that's going to be coming out for last gen. Also, there will be obviously a next gen version as well for this particular console, for this particular game, excuse me. And there's been a Mass Effect trilogy, I believe, that came out for the PS3, and I have it actually. You get 1, 2, and 3, but with this Mass Effect trilogy, you're going to get anti-aliasing. You're going to get, possibly, I'm assuming, if BioWare does this right, they want to do it right, you're going to get new texture models. Maybe you'll get 4K gameplay or something like that. But who knows? We really don't know exactly what BioWare is going to do with this, because Mass Effect Andromeda, even though it's a very technical, great looking game, and there was some graphical issues in the beginning when that game launched with the character animation models with their faces and things of that nature. This one is hopefully is going to be the one that hits it out the park at this particular moment. But I'm even hearing that BioWare is actually also working on a new Mass Effect game, and hopefully they take a page from No Man's Sky. And when I say a page from No Man's Sky, I'm not talking about put out a half-hearted game initially at launch and then make it great as the years go on. No, put out a game with that procedurally generated function and technology. I don't know how Hello Games did that, but I'm surprised that many more companies who create open world games don't use that alternative generated, automated generated universe creator capability. So maybe next gen we'll be able to see more of that with these next gen consoles, because that'll be a great component to add to it. But honestly, I really don't believe in BioWare. I kind of wish that Sony would just buy them outright, make them an exclusive company with them, or Microsoft, either one. Put some real money behind them. You know what I mean? Because Mass Effect Andromeda, I didn't like the story. There weren't any DLC for it. And I've waited so long for that game that when I got it, I was cool with it because it was a Mass Effect game, but it didn't give me that Mass Effect trilogy vibe. If you play Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and you was actually able to follow those characters and build a rapport with Commander Shepard and all of his friends that you're able to recruit by doing missions for them, and then they join your team on your spaceship, that was a journey that you feel like you went through in 3 games with all of those characters. It's like playing The Last of Us. The first Last of Us, you play with Joe and Ellie. So when you get to Last of Us 2, you already have that rapport with Joe and Ellie. So you're expecting that adventure to begin and that familiarity to be there. With Mass Effect Andromeda, I didn't, like I said, I didn't like the story. I didn't like the story. I didn't think it was open world enough, because if this is going to be a game that's going to be taking place with you going to different galaxies and different planets and different universes, then it has to be an open world game, I would think, at some point in time, to some particular degree, whether you can get in a spaceship and then go to another planet and explore that entire planet and do, I think at some point in time, they're going to have to jump and make that leap over to that particular type of gameplay, due to the fact that it's a space game. It's a space adventure game. And you would want to see, or at least I would want to see that type of gameplay. But I really hope that this trilogy that BioWare is putting together doesn't disappoint, because I don't think they're in a position to put out another game that doesn't do well initially at launch. You're dealing with a game that is beloved. So if you're going to make this game, if you're going to make a new Mass Effect, even if you're going to make this trilogy that they announced, listen, man, you're going to have to put new textures, new models, everything in, and modernize the controllers. And what I mean by the controllers, the control of the game. Playing Mass Effect 1 and playing Mass Effect 3, it's a completely different game as far as the controls are concerned. So I think they need not to rush this. They should take their time. I'm hearing maybe a 2021 release, maybe holiday season 2021. They'll launch this particular title. Maybe we'll get a peek at the next Mass Effect game that they're making, which I don't think is going to be coming out anytime soon. And then again, it's still early in this next gen gaming cycle because developers allegedly need time to develop games for this particular hardware and the abilities and everything like that. And I'm cool with that. But at the same time, you have to put your best foot forward when you're making this next Mass Effect game and ensure that the quality department and whoever's controlling that department doesn't skip any steps when it comes to it, because I'm not going to tolerate it. Just like I won't tolerate the same from Bethesda going forward, even though now they're under Microsoft's umbrella. Now they got tons of money behind them. The quality department of their games and their engines, they need to just go to Unreal Engine 5 at this particular moment. Unreal Engine 5, put the next Fallout game on it. Hopefully they put Starfield on it. And later in this video, I'm going to get into some information as far as that's concerned. But let's talk about the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Obviously, the consoles haven't launched yet. We're 2 days away from the launch of the Xbox Series X, and I believe about 5 days away from the launch of the PS5, excuse me, which is launching on November 12th, and the Xbox is launching on November 10th. I've been watching a lot of reviews. I've been watching a lot of previews and people explaining what this console is all about and what it can do and the hands-on component of it. Without having it in my home, I'm impressed, to be quite honest. I'm very impressed with what either company was able to do, because they're offering two different experiences that we shouldn't try to compare at this particular moment. Two different companies, two different ideals. And I think we need to give them their respect for that. I think we need to stop trying to get into this, well, this one is doing 4K, well, this one's doing 4K anti-aliasing. At the end of the day, if you're a gamer, who gives a shit? Like I said, I still hook up my PS3 from time to time. Hell, I'm playing on my Nintendo Switch. That's far inferior to the PS4 Pro that I have. That's far inferior to the Xbox X that I have. So to me, at least, I want to promote that on my channel. And I want to promote that to gamers. If you're a gamer, you're going to play games, regardless of how they look, regardless of where they are. I'm not saying that you overlook quality, you know what I'm saying, at all. But at the end of the day, two different companies, Microsoft already said that they don't even see Sony as a competitor at this particular moment. And they said that several years ago. I believe Phil Spencer said that. And he wasn't being cocky when he said that. He basically said they're not in that field. They're not in that game. You know what I mean? They're not gonna, just like Nintendo's not competing with neither one. And they're doing spectacular. I mean, look, this handheld console, right? Mobile console. No one thought that this console was going to be anything or as popular as it is now. You got a 720p screen. You got graphics that are way inferior to what's out currently right now. And they put Skyrim on here. They put The Witcher 3 on here. I mean, they put Zelda Breath of the Wild on here. I mean, they put so many different games that already came out on other consoles and platforms. Even though they might have been old, they still put it on inferior hardware, and it ran actually theoretically well. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, don't judge what a company is doing by the hardware necessarily that they're selling or that they're bringing out. Let the IP speak for themselves. And that's where I'm at this particular moment with Microsoft. I don't care that you have the most powerful console, personally. I'm still going to get it, but that's not why I'm getting it. I'm getting it by the hope and the promise. The hope and the promise is those studios that you bought. You know, those studios that are endeared to me, like Bethesda. I'm a Fallout guy. Regardless of how screwed up and janky that engine is, I still play it from time to time. I mean, not only that, what else you got coming out? What else they got coming out? They got the new Halo has been pushed back to 2021, obviously. We don't even know if that's coming out 2021. Hell, the goddamn game developers are leaving like flies. They're dropping like flies every 2 months. You got somebody leaving the Halo team, So, like I said, man, if you're a gamer, man, you're not going to trip. It's going to be what it's going to be. Play what you like. That's all I'm saying. Play what you like. Don't bash what somebody else enjoy. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. Let it be. But I don't see anything out of bashing somebody for the likes of what tickle their fancy at the end of the day. That's just the way it goes. But I got some very bad news. And you might look at it as bad news because I look at it as bad news. The Xbox Series S, that's the digital small Xbox that's going to be coming out the 10th of November. Well, apparently it's only going to be 364 gigs of storage on it at launch. That's what you're going to get inside of the console. But 148 gigs of that is for the operating system. So then what you have, another 200 gigs for games? Like, I think when you're making a digital unit, and this is just my personal opinion, when you're making a digital console, which can't take this, nothing, you got to download everything, it should generally have more space, more storage space than the console that is not digital, that takes this. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're downloading everything. So being that it's also $299, could you be mad at them? I mean, they had to cut costs somewhere. They didn't want to cut the profit and margin and the loss. They kind of wanted, I guess, at some point in time to be kind of even, and maybe they'll make up with the Game Pass. Game Pass is great. I can't knock Game Pass. I got it now. It's Sony. Y'all need to get on board for Game Pass, because Game Pass is no joke. Y'all need to make something of your own like that. And I know they do, but it's not even half. Look, every major exclusive Xbox game comes to Game Pass day one, free. So the next, Starfield, that's an Xbox exclusive. That's going to be free. You understand what I'm saying? Elder Scrolls 6, right? I'm assuming that's going to be an exclusive because it's under Microsoft's umbrella. But if it is an exclusive, it's going to be free because it's going to be on Game Pass. Halo, whenever Halo gets its shit together, I don't know what 343 Studios are doing, but whenever they decide to make a game that's worth playing in 2020, it's going to be free. So I think at the end of the day, when you have a digital console, you got to have at least 2 terabytes. I don't see anything wrong with asking for that. And if you're going to make a digital console, make a SKU for gamers that want that, right? And I get it. You can get the little memory cards and put them in the back. But as I was analyzing the videos that were released of the Xbox Series X and S, I saw only one memory card slot. The proprietary memory card that comes with, or actually doesn't come with, that you have to purchase for like $200 for more space. You only get one memory card spot. I would have liked them to put at least 2 or 3. You know what I mean? You can put, hell, make a 2 terabyte card. I'm sure at some particular point, somebody's going to make, or a third party company, maybe if Microsoft allows it, they're going to make, a knockoff high-speed memory card that you're going to be able to put in that Xbox. But a digital one, give me 4 terabytes, man, right out the box. 4 terabytes, I'll pay $4.99 for that. Call it a day. You know what I mean? With the inferior internals, because the Xbox Series S is not going to have the same capabilities as the X. So I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't trip on that. But I mean, if you're taking up half of the space on a digital console for the operating system, come on. I think they could have done a lot better than that. Personally, and that's just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to, be picky here or try to complain, but I'm just saying, like, come on, you don't need that much. You don't need that much space. Let's talk about Bethesda here. I told you guys I'm a big fan of Bethesda. They're finally listening to the fans. And maybe it wasn't the fans. Maybe they just realized that the engine that they've been using for years have sucked ass. And I've been saying use Unreal Engine 5 for the engine for Starfield, the next Fallout games, or etc. Whatever else you have coming down the pipeline. Unreal Engine 5 looks spectacular. We've seen other studios use it. I don't know why Bethesda's so hard-headed, but apparently that's not going to be an issue going forward because they're overhauling that complete engine for Starfield, for Elder Scrolls 6, for the next Fallout. This is what they're saying. So do I believe it? No, because they're not one of the companies that I can really give them the benefit of the doubt yet. And the reason I say that is because they burned me so bad with Fallout 76. They burned me. It wasn't such that it was a third-degree burn. It was more like a 10-degree burn because of the promise that they offered. This was the first multiplayer Fallout game, and how they revealed it, and my expectations were through the roof because I was a big fan of Fallout 4. Bought the season pass, played all of the DLC. And when you get this game, the game is janky. The game is lagging. And what do you expect? You're playing a multiplayer game. There wasn't any NPCs in the game. Items that they said were going to be free, you had to pay because they were behind a paywall. Clothing that you would find in Fallout 4, you had to pay for in Fallout 76. This is a game that's not going to make a No Man's Sky type return where you're going to feel like, oh, wow, they put so much into this game now. It's so much better than what it was at launch. I still log in from time to time, and I'm like, I'm still not impressed. I still need to see more. And, they got it. Hopefully the system that they use is worth using. But at the end of the day, they have a lot to prove to me. A lot to prove. But let's get into how, where, and why there's a great and large possibility for you to still be able to get a PS5 and your Xbox Series X or S at launch. So here's the deal. This is what's going on. So Microsoft is launching their console the 10th, right? Which is a Tuesday. So they're going to launch their console. You're not going to be able to go into any retailer and purchase this console physically, right? What I mean by going into the retailer, going to the electronics section where the games are and looking behind the display case saying, I want that one. What you're going to have to do at select retailers, and I'm going to tell you which retailers you'll be able to do this at. Target, particularly, and Best Buy, you'll be able to do curbside pickup. So you will have to buy the console online. And if you have a Best Buy account, it's real simple. It'll tell you, your local Best Buy and your particular zip code jurisdiction. You put your zip code in, you go to the app, type in that PS5 or Xbox, whatever one you want of your choice, and then you buy it. And then normally it'll be like, hey, you can pick this item up in 2 hours. That's what I did during the summer when I purchased my television. I bought it online, then went to the store and picked it up. So they're still doing curbside pickup for the Xbox Series X, but they're only doing online orders now. So you'll also still be able to order an Xbox Series S and X online, I believe at 12 p.m. So you're only going to get one opportunity on launch day to actually order this console, and you'll be able to get it. You know what I mean? And that's, like I said in the beginning of the video, that's really good news to me because I haven't been able to get one yet. So you'll be able to get that. Now with the PS5, it's a little different now. It's a little tricky. You're going to still be able to order the PS5 the same way at Best Buy and Target. But you will get 3 opportunities throughout the day. And I don't want to give you guys the wrong times. And I don't want to look it up right now while I'm on video. But you'll be able to, actually, I covered it in one of my videos. If you go to my YouTube channel, right, which you're obviously on now, But if you go to one of my most recent videos, and that's the which one is it? It's the Walmart confirms launch day PS5 and Xbox Series X available online. If you go to that video and you watch it, I gave the exact times that you'll be able to order a PS5 online. So you're going to get 3 opportunities that day of launch to order one. And, cross your fingers, because I can imagine the bots are going to be out. People are still going to be trying to scam, upsell these consoles. I can't stand gamers that do that kind of shit. Like, right now we in a pandemic. A lot of people are home. A lot of Americans are out of work. So people are passing a lot of time playing video games, trying to keep their minds off of everything that's going on in the world. We just had an election. Shout out to, the electoral candidates who won. But yeah, I mean, don't be a dick. You know what I mean? And use your bots to buy these things and then hold them for ransom. And I was on eBay the other day. Someone is selling a PS5 with the disc version for like $13,000. Like, come on, who's gonna pay $13,000 for a PS5? Like, stop. Like, I want one bad. I even stood online twice to get one. No luck doing it. But at the end of the day, like, stop being desperate. Like, let people eat. Like, let people get these things. I'm sure there's going to be a resupply, a restock of these particular consoles. Maybe later in the week, more than most likely. But you'll be able to get one from what it sounds like. Some people were all doom and gloom the last 2 weeks. Oh, if you didn't pre-order a PS5 or Xbox, you're not going to get one in 2021. Shut up. Like, stop telling people that. Like, you don't even know. Like, I go to some guys' channels that I follow. I'm not going to say names. Like, they're day-to-day with shit. Like, one day they're saying this, next day they're saying that. Like, you don't even know exactly when this shit's going to launch or how many is going to be available or the possibility of you getting one. What's the likelihood of it? Stop. So, that's really good news, though. That's really good news. Also, I've been Cloud Punk. I've been playing that on the Nintendo Switch. I've been streaming that. And I like it more than I thought I was going to like it, to be honest. Like, I've been playing it, and it's an open world, completely open world. It has this Minecraft textures that are used in the structures and the vehicles and the character that you play as. And you're basically a delivery service individual who deliver parcels. And it's not like Death Stranding. I can tell you that right now, the graphics completely are shitty if you compare it to Death Stranding. And if you know what Death Stranding is, that's the PS4 game that Hideo Kojima put out that, who would have known, turned out to be a pretty damn good game. At least what I think. But so you're delivering packages to different areas of the city. You're flying in this type of vehicle that basically flies in the air. You're able to transverse the horizon, meaning you can go up or down. It's more like a Fifth Element type of feel to the actual city that they created. I don't know if you guys saw the Fifth Element movie with Bruce Willis in it and Chris Tucker, but you remember that taxi that he was in? It was like a flying, hovering taxi. He was able to go up and go down and fly throughout the city. Same deal. But it's a pretty solid game. I mean, I haven't beaten it yet, and I've heard, like I said, I've heard good things about it. That's why I bought it. And like, so far so good. I can't even trip on it. It actually, is really entertaining. It's really savvy. These games that you would think, if you look at them first sight, like, you would think that these games would suck and that they would not perform well on a Nintendo Switch, but I gotta give it to Nintendo. Like, they obviously have a formula to the way they're doing things. And I think at the end of the day, you have to give these companies an opportunity to progress the genre or progress this particular entity of entertainment. And I think it's progressing well. I remember 30 years ago, you would have never thought that it would have been cool for a grown man in his 30s or early 40s to say, hey, I play video games. I like to play video games. When I'm not working, I'm home, I'm playing video games. Like, you probably wouldn't even get no play for women 30 years ago. So now to find that it's not only accepted in mainstream society, women actually play games just as much as men do. So it's not this stigma of, oh, men just sit in front of TVs and play video games all day. Well, women do it too. So I think that that's pretty cool. Cyberpunk is coming out in December, and I really hope Cyberpunk lives up to the hype. I really. They said that the map is smaller than The Witcher 3, but it's more dense. So, and it's more vertical. So, maybe that'll add to the the experience of the game. But CD Projekt Red, they had their hands cut out and way before this game was even announced. They were making it, and they knew what they had to live up to, because The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt was just such a marvelous game. So many quests. You can put over 80, 90, 100 hours into The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt and still not feel content, and still feel like you don't know enough about the game or seen enough about the game. That Cyberpunk, it has such large shoes to fill. And being that they delayed it twice, it sucks. Um, they said they weren't going to put their employees in a position where they have to be in a crunch type setting. But, now that they're not in that crunch type setting anymore, and the console's coming out within like maybe 3 weeks, hopefully this game will be a nomination for a game of the year. I don't see why it wouldn't be, due to the fact that I believe in CD Projekt Red. I think that they put out great quality content. They don't shortchange the gamers on their games. The graphics is always good. The DLC was always stellar and great. And at the end of the day, I mean, I just believe in this particular development company. So let's see what happens with the Cyberpunk 2077. I'm going to be getting that as well. I pre-ordered it for the PS4 because I wasn't sure if I was going to actually be able to get a PS5 in 2020. Now I feel stupid. So hopefully now when I go pick it up, I can just say, hey, look, I'd rather get it for the PS5 instead of the PS4, just to have it that way. But yeah, man, I mean, this is a great time to be a gamer. Um, it should be no reason why no one has nothing to play at this particular moment. There's so many games out there that we overlooked, and at least I overlooked, and since I wasn't able to get a PS5 yet or Xbox, I went back to my back catalog. Been playing a whole bunch of shit. I even picked up Watch Dogs Legion the other day, played maybe about an hour into that, and I'm still finding my way through that game, trying to figure out what that's about. GTA 6, hopefully we get an announcement. We got some type of cryptic message maybe last week in regard to that game. Rockstar hasn't announced that GTA 6 is coming, or that they're making it, or that I'm sure they're in development of it, but they haven't showed any screenshots, any templates of wherever the game is going to take place at, who's going to be the protagonist player that you're going to play as, what's going to be the new features. The feature that they added to the last game was the fact that you can actually play as 3 playable characters at one time throughout a story. And I kind of found that as a generation leap in technology, in gameplay, and productivity. I thought that was awesome. But even that game, at the end of the day, is still selling like hotcakes. Like GTA 5, I don't understand why it's always top two or three in the MPDs. Like, that game has been out like 7 years. Like, I remember playing it on my PS3, and it was great then. So I mean, like, that game just does not die. But there's going to be a updated version of GTA 5 on the Xbox Series X and S and the PS5. So if you haven't, and I don't know what person, unless you're living on the moon or Pluto or under a rock, if you haven't played GTA 5, you're going to be able to play it 4K, I'm sure, maybe 120 frames per second, and it should be enjoyable, because hopefully they add some story player DLC. If they haven't done it by now, I don't think they're going to do it. But that's just a hope and dream for me, because that game was just a spectacular game that I really enjoyed. I thought that it lived up to the hype. I thought it lived up to the expectations that Rockstar had for it. And to be honest, it wasn't really that buggy. You know what I mean? So I think overall, us as gamers in 2020 going into 2021, we're going to be sitting well in a pretty good space going into the new year. There's so much games and content to consume coming up in the next year or two. Uh, I don't know where I'm going to find the time to actually get all of that gameplay to you guys, but I'll try my best. Like I said, follow my Twitch channel. It's probably the link is probably more than likely in the description of this video. If not, it's on my main YouTube page. You'll be able to follow me there. I stream a lot. I normally announce with a video prior to me streaming on my channel that you can check me out on Twitch, so you guys will be notified. But yeah, man, thank you guys for rocking out with me. Gaming on a Sunday. You know what I mean? I know the vibes. I try to give it to you guys straight and down the line. Wish me luck this week that my Twitter fingers will be able to allow me to move quickly throughout the internet to actually purchase a PS5 or the Xbox Series X at this particular moment. Going to do my due diligence to actually get one. So I want y'all to hold me to it because I'm going to hold myself to it. God damn it. Anyway, guys, thanks for rocking out with me. I'm Troy. This is LTR Gaming. Check me out next week with another Vibes video on a Sunday. We're going to talk more. Maybe I'll have some good news. Maybe you'll see that I might have procured one or was able to get one, or maybe one is in the mail on my way to me because I was able to pre-order one early in the week. Who knows? Got my fingers crossed. Stay blessed, guys. Stay safe. Peace.